much, Rajani. I'm sorry. My brain fogged up for just a second there, Mahima. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Alex.
Yeah, I was thinking about a few stocks that were on my screen right now, and for some strange reason, my brain fogged up. Let's talk about those stocks then. Let's talk about the equity markets right now. And you have gains of about 0.5% for the Nifty 50, and you have the broader markets that are not doing too much at this juncture. Let's look at the mid-cap index. It's just about flat right now. Let's pull up the small-cap index as well. It's just about flat, not too much. But there are more gainers than declines in trade today, just as was the case in trade yesterday as well. Let's see if that pans out over the course of the day. The auto back as a whole is doing quite well on the back of developments. Yesterday, you saw quite a strong number from Maruti Suzuki. And in fact, quite a few of those stocks are buzzing in trade. Ashok Leyland up as much as 4%. A few interesting talking points in terms of the tractor sales in the West region also that have panned out. Mahindra Mahindra benefiting from that, up about 2% or so. What's not doing too well are the tire stocks. They're losing a little bit of ground. Apollo Tires as well as MRF and Balkrishna Industries, which by the way is the off-road tire company. Let's also take a look at the other sectoral performers, and you have half and half in terms of the patchwork of sectors that are doing well. Among the losers, you have the Nifty Bank that is underperforming, but there are still a few names that are doing well. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But the auto index is right on top of the list, gaining about 1.3% at this juncture. IT is doing reasonably well, up about 1% or so. In just a short while, you see the earnings for the third quarter coming through, and previews are already coming in for the IT companies, some of them reacting to that. You have digital finance, private banks all doing reasonably well in trade today. Let's talk about a few of the stocks though, and I would hazard a guess to say CSB Bank is on your list.
Yes, CSB Bank is on my list. It's buzzing on the back of the business update, banking business update that has come out with. Let's pull up the chart and see how it's faring in trade right now. The stock is doing well. It's up around 3.6% as we speak, and the advances grew by 26% for the counter. Deposits grew by 22%. Loan of gold against grew around 36%, and CASA grew by 7% for the bank. So the counter is doing well in trade today. It's up around 3%. It's off from its day's highs, but doing well comparatively. Some other counters which are doing well include Sandur Manganese and iron ore. The company has received approval for enhancement of permissible annual production. So their overall production capacity will go up from 3.81 million tons to 4.36 million tons per annum. The stock is up around 3%. Another counter which is doing well is Railtel Corp. It has received an order worth 78 crores on the back of which it's up and above in trade. Mazagon Docks, Vishnu Prakash R. Pungalia. Vishnu Prakash R. Pungalia was trading well yesterday as well. It's up around 3% today also. The company has announced the receipt of letter of intent, which is for around 31 odd crores. Goa Carbon is another counter, doing very well because it is now announced that its operation in Bilaspur unit has resumed. It did stop for a while, which is why the stock is up around 7%. So all of these counters, Alex, are doing well in trade today, and of course on the back of news flow.
Certainly. All right. We've got several questions that have already come through. I didn't mention at the start because quite a few of you are regular viewers, but if you're tuning in for the first time and you'd like to call us, that's the number that you see on your screen. You can call us on that landline number. There is also a WhatsApp number that we should play up in just a bit, and you can send us your messages on that number, and we'll try and take as many. It is also on the top of the screen, by the way. It will be our endeavor to take as many questions over the course of the next 1 hour as possible. We've got Kush Bora, who's the founder of kushbora.com, and Rajesh Agarwal, who's the head of research at Om Capital. Apologies, Om Capital. Rajesh, Kush, thanks so much for taking the time, and this is the first show that we're doing with you in the new year, so Happy New Year to you as well and your teams. I will start with the first question today, that is on SJVN, and this is a question I believe from Pavan, who's writing in from Bengaluru, and this is for you, Kush. He's bought at an average price of 100 rupees per share. He's got 1,000 shares and he's looking to hold for a 6-month time frame. Should he hold or should he sell at this point?
Hi, Alex. Hi, Mahima. Hello, Rajesh. And a very happy new year to you and to all the viewers. I hope this year turns out to be way more profitable than the last one. and also a lot of viewers, tune in to the end of the year and say that, every discussion that we had on Ask Profit earlier this year was, way more helpful and a way more profitable one. So, on those greetings and on those wishes to everyone, SJVN is looking to make a comeback. If you see the 103, 102 support zone has acted twice, and you're seeing the stock move up. Yesterday there was, a good volume up move. Yesterday today some of the gains are being given away from the 50-day moving average. But with the kind of upswing that the stock is seeing, I think it's not a bad idea to continue to hold on to this one. Now the good thing is that his buying price is 100. The support zone comes in at 103. So he should place the stop loss at 103 and continue to hold. On the way up, you're looking at targets of 118 as the first level and 125. I'm just rounding it off. It's actually 126. So about 125, those kind of targets very much likely on SJVN in the coming week.
Right, so that's the view coming in on SJVN from Kush. Next query is from Mr. Srinivas, who's from Hyderabad. He's holding 6922 shares of Ease My Trip at an average price of around 18 rupees. The stock is currently trading at 15 rupees a piece, and he wants to know as to he should keep holding it or sell it. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. Lots happening with the company, as such. We see that the promoter, that is Nishant Pitti, has completely, was in plans to completely exit the company. He's also resigned. What are your views on this particular counter?
Good morning, Mahima. Good morning, Alex, Kush. From my side and from my company Home Capital side, I wish you and Alex and Kush a very happy new year, and the entire team of NDTV and our viewers too a very happy and prosperous new year. And I sincerely believe that up ki baar 27,000 that would be there in the Nifty.
Yes.
Let's hope that. And coming to Ease My Trip, I think the fundamentals are not that great to hold on this stock for a long period of time. The numbers have not been that good. And with the news of the promoters exiting the company totally, I don't think there is any reason to be in that stock. Any upside should be taken as an opportunity to exit.
All right, so that's the view on Easy Trip Planners. Had a torrid time over the last couple of months, ever since you saw the initial signs of promoters selling, and people have lost a lot of money. Exit is a call on the fundamentals. We've got Vishwas joining us from Bengaluru, the first caller of the day. Good morning, Vishwas, and thanks so much for calling us this morning. How can we help you?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Sir, Waaree Renewable Technology, average price 1290. Stock 100, hold or sell, sir?
Hold or sell. What is the time that you want to hold this for, Vishwas? Is it short term or long term?
Sir, short term.
And short term is 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year?
Sir, 6 months.
6 month time frame. Okay. All right. Let me go to Kush on this one. 1,420 is the current price. Bought at levels of 1290. So in a profit right now, would you book or would you hold for additional gains?
The first thing that I would like to congratulate Vishwas on is the buying price. I mean, the 1290 price is actually quite a splendid one, because the stock's made base around that level for the last 3 to 4 sessions. So kudos on the purchase price. He's actually seeing a very handsome profit. And mind you, this is a stock which has actually seen quite a bit of knock from what about the 3,200 odd levels. So the buying price is phenomenal. Now, what he can do is keep that as a trailing stop loss, or maybe just a little higher around the 1,300, 1,320 mark. That should act as his trailing stop loss. What we're seeing on the charts is that in the last 3 sessions, the stock is up on the back of good volumes. 20-day moving average taken out yesterday, 50-day moving average, being taken out today. Remains to be seen if it closes above that. But nonetheless, very early signs of a recovery on this one. I think you should continue to hold this with a trailing stop loss. I can see higher targets of about 1,500 as the first one, and once that is taken out, 1,625 as well. So kudos on the buy price. Hold this with a trailing stop loss.
So it's a hold for Waaree Renewables, and 1,500 and 1,620 are the two targets given by Kush. Moving on to the next query, Saurabh Yadav from Mumbai is holding around 75 shares of NHPC at an average price of 109. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell these shares, keeping in mind a 1-year investment time horizon, and he wants to know the insights or analysis on the same. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. He's sitting on a loss of around 2,000 odd rupees. Should he keep holding those 75 shares of NHPC?
Yes, of course. I think one should continue to hold. The fundamentals are very strong, performing in hydroelectric power, and things are very good. Numbers have been very good in the last 2-3 quarters. The kind of power demand which we are witnessing in our country, I think this company is going to do well. The only reason because of the loss is two. One, you have bought at a very high price, and two, the markets have been very wobbly in the last 3 months, I would say. So fundamentals have nothing to do with the kind of cut you have seen. I think one can continue to hold. And for any reason, if it falls by around 5-6% more, one can even add to that.
So one can even add to that, considering, that's the view coming in on NHPC. We have our next caller, Vinay from Bengaluru, who is calling in. Vinay, thanks for calling in. Good morning. How can we help you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Vinay. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm holding a share called NCC.
Okay.
I have a quantity of 1056 and buying price at 141 rupees.
Okay.
So currently I'm sitting on profit of 94%.
Okay.
So I just want to know whether I should hold the stock or I shall book the partial profits.
All right.
And what is the fundamentals? That part I should know.
Understood. First of all, congratulations on the profits. You've bought it at significantly low levels, and you're sitting on a good amount of profit. So congratulations on that. I just want to understand as to what was the thought process before buying NCC, because it's involved in bought projects as well as EPC projects.
Yeah. Thank you. It was an infrastructure company.
Yes.
So it has a very good order book, and as well as it has consistently showing profit on quarterly basis.
Right.
And I am also bullish on infrastructure, that part.
Got it.
The government is spending a lot of money on building the infrastructures, roads and all.
Okay. All right. Vinay, I'll take your question with Rajesh. Rajesh, your view on NCC as well as, infrastructure as a sector, as a whole, and what pockets of infrastructure would you be bullish on?
See, first coming to this infrastructure as a sector, I think we should be very bullish on the entire sector as such going forward, because one, our country has a vision of being 5 trillion economy in the next few years. Infrastructure growth is going to happen. First half, there was no government capex as such, and I believe in the second half, government would put pressure on capex with a focus of infrastructure development and all. Not only infrastructure companies, but ancillary companies like cement, steel, they are also going to do well. Now, some top picks from this sector, I would say Larsen would be the first choice, no doubt on that. Otherwise, there are a few mid-cap companies like JK Infra and NCC and all those things. But still, now coming to NCC, the company has been very good. And as the gentleman said, the order book is very good. I fully agree to that. The order book is very good. And every quarter they are getting new orders. Order inflows are good. And not to forget the kind of infrastructure activities going into Telangana and all. So this company is going to do well in the next 2-3 years down the line. So if time is not a concern, I think one should carry on with the stock. And if by any chance it moves to 300 odd rupees in the near future, one can book partial profit at those levels.
Okay, so maybe you can look at that. It's lost a little bit of ground over the last month or so, but it's done quite well. Incidentally, Know Your Company is a show that we do at 11:30 every day, and it just so happens that NCC is the company that a deep dive is going to be done on in today's show. We are going to also have the management or a representative of the management on the show. That's Neeraj Sharma at the bottom of your screen. That's what you should see, who's a head strategy. But if you have watched KYC, which is Know Your Company, you will know that they'll go into all of the metrics of this company. So we got a question. Anant, who's asking about NCC, Vinay, who's just asked about NCC. Of course, the call was to hold, but then in case you want to know more about the company that you've invested in, I would encourage you to watch KYC. We've got Varun Beverages, Roshan, who's asking about this, and he's holding 100 shares at a price of 600 rupees. Is it a good idea to hold, or should he exit at this point? Kush, on the charts, what's the view? He's in the green right now.
Well, not a bad move at all on this one. While the near-term resistance is at the price at which it's trading at currently, so 600 to about 650 to 660 is a zone where the stock has tested at least about 3 to 4 times, if not more, in the recent past, and hasn't really been able to break out. But with the kind of moves that we are seeing today, it might sound slightly preemptive, but there's a possibility that it might break the 660 band. So if that zone is broken, then the stock could make a dash towards 700 as well. So the view would be to hold. And as I've said in practically all the queries that I've answered today, trailing stop losses are not a bad idea. So even for this one, since the buy price is at 600 and the 20-day moving average support comes in close to 635, not a bad idea to place a trailing stop loss and ride the momentum. The first target on this one for me would be 680 once that is taken out. You're looking at a 700 kind of an upside as well.
All right, so 681 is the next target for Waaree Beverages as per Kush. We have our next caller, Sudhakar from Hyderabad is calling in. Sudhakar, thanks for calling in. Good morning. How can we help you? Hi, Sudhakar. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we've... yeah, I can hear you, Sudhakar.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, good morning. I can hear you, Sudhakar.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
I'm Sudhakar here.
Yeah.
Can you kindly, I've got HDFC Life,
Okay.
50 shares at 707, madam.
Okay.
So whether shall I hold it or shall I sell it?
Okay, what is the kind
What
of
is your
time
advice?
horizon that you're looking for?
Usually I'm a long-term investor,
Okay.
but it's not so big. I had taken purely based on the government's decision, would be likely decision on GST, madam.
Okay.
With that view I had taken actually.
All right. I got your point, Sudhakar. I'll go to Rajesh on this one. Rajesh, do you think his line of thinking is correct and he should keep holding HDFC Life?
Yes, one can keep holding HDFC Life for a longer period of time. I would say maybe 12 to 18 months would be a decent time horizon, considering the fact that companies' fundamentals are very strong on the digital platform. They are doing very well. If you look at the entire private sector life insurance space, it's one of the companies that the numbers have been pretty good. But in the insurance space, if somebody says, I think LIC would be better placed because of its valuation. So what I would suggest is, once some upside is there, why not switch to LIC where the valuations are very good?
All right, we've got a question on WhatsApp, which is related to Corp, and Narendra points out that he wants to know about this because of the report that NDTV Profit did a short while back. In case you missed it, this was by my colleague Sajit Mangat, but I'm just going to go through what he has reported. It has to do with the Navi Mumbai SEZ, and it is 5,200 acres of land holding that this SEZ has. It was incorporated in 2004. Now, the interesting point is that there is a shareholding which you should be aware of. Okay, so NMSEZ is a 74-26 joint venture between Dronagiri Infra and Sidco. Dronagiri Infra has a shareholding of 33% with Reliance Industries, 32% with Corp, which is a company that our viewer wants to know about, and SKIL or Skill Infra, which is 35%. Corp's promoter is Anand Jain, who is a known associate of Mukesh Ambani. Skill Infra is a Nikhil Gandhi firm, and that is currently under insolvency. The latest development is that Reliance Industries is set to buy Dronagiri's 74% stake in NMSEZ for 1,628 crore rupees, and that values the SEZ at about 2,200 crore rupees. The value of each acre, therefore, is approximately 50 lakh rupees. So the contention is that perhaps this is being sold at a very cheap valuation. The stock is down, Corp, it's down about 19% as we speak right now. Let's pull up the chart and see where it is. But the specific question is from our viewer, who is Narendra. He's bought at levels of 366. The stock is currently at 251. What should he do? Rajesh, any coverage on this? What should he do?
Yeah, I think it should continue to hold. This SEZ story has been going on since a very long period of time, and today, when the news came, it cracked. But I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. A bounce back from these levels is quite possible. Maybe in the next one or two trading session, then one can consider whether he wants to hold or exit. But in my opinion, one should continue to hold for at least 6 to 9 months.
To hold for at least next 6 to 9 months is the call coming in on Jacob. We have our next caller, Murli from Bengaluru is calling in. Murli, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Hey, hi everyone. Wish you all a very happy new year.
A very happy new year to you too, Murli.
Thank you. And wish it the same for your viewers as well.
Thank you so
I
much.
have a question. I have a question on ICICI Bank.
Okay.
I have about 300 shares
Okay.
at 1200.
Okay.
But I was wondering, is it now a good time to, go more aggressive and buy more, or should I hold, or what's the panelist view?
All right. I believe you're a long-term investor, Murli.
Yes.
All right. And why ICICI Bank specifically from the entire banking space? Is there a specific reason?
Well, I'm already invested in it, so that's the only reason.
All right. I'll take your query with Rajesh. Rajesh, I'll come back to you. Your view on ICICI Bank, should he add more at current levels?
Of course, one can at these levels. The numbers have been pretty good. Not only this quarter, from the last 2-3 quarters, and the entire banking space has cleared of its NPA at this point of time. The only issue is from NIMs. That's because of high interest rate. And once something happens on the interest rate cut front by the RBI governor in the next meeting or in the next to next, I think things would start looking very good for the entire banking space. And our top picks in this space would be ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, and a Kotak. So we would recommend a buy on ICICI Bank at 1280 odd rupees for a target of maybe 1450 in the next 1 year.
Not mistaken, let me please correct me if I'm wrong, Rajesh. I looked at the price to book multiple of ICICI Bank, and it's not as high as you would think, right? It's not as high as it has been in the past.
That's the reason we have been recommending this. I have been also recommending on the purely on price to book. I think IndusInd Bank stands out because at one time price to book, IndusInd Bank has taken a knock due to the last quarter numbers where they faced MFI problems and a lot of provisions were made. And at this price, I think it's 1 to a time price to book. And if somebody wants to take a risk, a small amount can be deployed into IndusInd Bank too. But yes, I agree to your point that ICICI Bank has also got a very reasonable price to book.
Absolutely, because it's not moved too much for a while. It's stayed sideways. It was one of the early banks to take off, and quite a few of them have been under a little bit of pressure. It's not a sector that has done incredibly well over the last 6 months or so. Let's talk about the next question. It's from Mohit, who's writing in from Ludhiana, and he's asking about restaurant brand Asia. He's bought at levels of 106. His time horizon is 3 years, and so therefore he's looking for a long-term view. He's seeing a loss. Rajesh, some of these players in the QSR space have been under a little bit of pressure. Nothing different from restaurant brands perspective as well. Would you hold on?
Their food,
yeah.
not their shares.
You like their food, but not their shares.
Yeah. The numbers have not been that good, and there's a lot of competition coming up, and I don't think there is any reason to believe that this company is going to do well in the next 6 to 9 months or maybe a year. It's better to exit on any upsides.
Okay, Kush, do you like the food or do you like the share? Which one?
Certainly the food.
So
the shares. It's not an exit, and only for the reason that we are seeing mild positive divergences, and around that 77, 78 mark, the stock's actually attempting a rebound. So maybe you can exit on rise close to 95 and then perhaps 98 kind of levels. Not sure if it will hit the profits for the investor anytime soon.
If either of you gentlemen wants to treat us, we don't have lunch today, so you know where to send it. Thanks so much for that. But we have to slip into a very quick break. On the other side, we've got more questions lined up, so do stay tuned.
my face.
How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
What's the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Think you know what success looks like? Think again. Meet the disruptors, those who dare, dream and defy.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know your company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know your company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant Food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target. It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings. Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
From my face.
How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
What's the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, and this is NDTV Profit. And we've got the next caller on the show, by the way. We've got Vimal joining us from Chennai. Vimal, thanks so much for holding the line. What can we help you with today?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I am holding Sagility India 1000 shares at 53 rupees, sir.
Okay.
And in recent times, it is undergoing extreme movements.
Yes.
And can I sell it or hold it, sir? I am looking for long-term view, 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. So when did you buy this, Vimal?
Just 1 week before, sir.
Okay. And so did you study the company before you chose to buy?
Yeah, sir. I studied a little bit, and I also went with JP Morgan report regarding that BPO, the health BPO services, things and all, sir.
And
I saw like fundamentals are good, but it is undergoing like extreme movements.
Yeah.
That is what I am worried.
So that is concerning for you. It is, in fact, it is up 5% in trade today. Let's pull up the chart. I want to see how. Yeah, so it is at upper circuit. So no sellers in the stock right now. Vimal might just be one of them, depending on Rajesh's view. Rajesh, should he hold on based on the fundamentals over the course of the next 2 to 3 years?
As far as fundamentals are concerned, I think they are very strong. Q2 numbers were up by 30% on bottom line. The first half was up by around 15%. The numbers have been good. The only reason about the price cut, I would say, is the kind of upside it has seen in the recent past. It has gone up circuit to circuit for quite a few number of days, and now again it started going circuit to circuit on a lower side. Again, it's on upper side. It's very erratic movement, I would say. Around 60 rupees, it would be prudent to book some profit in this.
60 rupees, book some profits is the view coming in on Sagility India. We have our next query, which is from Gopal. Okay, we have it from Gopal. He wants to know as to, what could be the long-term target for NTPC. He's holding 100 shares bought at 438 a piece. Kush, I'll come to you on this one. 1 year target for this particular counter?
Well, I think from a near-term perspective, there's very evidently, pressure. But again, let's recall the fact that this stock has actually moved all the way from 120 somewhere in mid 2022 to about 400 rupees. So this profit booking in the larger context of things is actually par for the course. Now it's got a strong support zone near the 300-310 mark, while it is still lower than the current price and of course lower than the buying price. It's not a bad idea to hold this with a stop loss of 300. I wouldn't be surprised to see, in the weeks or months to come, an upside on this one. So on the way up, the first target for me on this one is 375. Once that is taken out, you're looking at a 410, 415 kind of a level as well. So he might perhaps have to exit at cost, but it's still a stock that you'd want to hold on to for a year's time frame.
All right. So that's the view on NTPC. Puneet is calling us from Himachal Pradesh. Puneet, namaskar. How can we help you today?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, actually, I holding Mahindra and Mahindra shares 1,092 at a price of 3,009. Sir, I want to know your view on this share. I purchased this share due to the expansion of EV segment of Mahindra and Mahindra.
Okay. और आपने इसके अलावा आपने स्टडी किया कंपनी को, आपने ट्रैक्टर डिवीजन के बारे में कुछ पढ़ा है उनके
ऑटोमोबाइल अभी मतलब इनका जो ट्रैक्टर डिवीजन था वो थोड़ा अभी रूरल में थोड़ा अच्छा हुआ है एज कम्पेयर टू जो पहले से अच्छा है। और मैंने आपके चैनल से आई फॉलो योर आस्क प्रॉफिट चैनल एंड आई जस्ट कलेक्ट द इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम योर चैनल itself, sir.
जी ओके, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट एंड you're okay to hold for the long term, right, Puneet?
Yes, approximately more than 5 years.
More than 5 years, okay. All right, so Rajesh, from that perspective, very long-term holding, and generally what works is that one of the two divisions actually picks up. Of course, everyone's talking about the EVs, very glitzy cars launched, but ultimately you're talking about the tractor division, which continues to have a lot of share of revenue, and the margins actually come from the farm equipment sector. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. The higher margins are there. So what are you paying attention to? Would you hold for the next 5 years?
Of course, yes. Although the fact is it has run up quite a lot in the last 1 year or so, giving phenomenal return, but still, as you said, even the tractors division is doing well. Passenger car segment is doing well, and December quarter car sales number has been very good. They have reported 18% jump in SUV sales. The Thar Rocks and XUV has been taken very well by the market. The waiting period is quite high. And not to forget the farm equipment business that is doing well. Balance sheet is very strong. Recently, there was a news that in the EVs ventures, they have got good amount of money into that. So everything is going well for the company. There might be some bout of correction in between, but for a long horizon, I think it's quite a good stock in the auto space. So one should continue to hold.
To hold is the call coming in on M&M. We have a next query on Raymond and Raymond Lifestyle. we don't have the viewer name. Okay, we have the viewer name. Anant is asking, he's saying that he's bought Raymond in 2021 before demerger, and now he has shares of both the companies, and he wants a long-term view on both of these counters. Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. What is your view on both Raymond Limited as well as Raymond Lifestyle? Raymond Limited will also again get demerged into Raymond Realty as well as Raymond Limited.
You said it right. Raymond has got that reality thing with it, and that's doing very well. The kind of valuation it has, I think there's a lot of upside left into this. Maybe a target of 200 odd rupees in the near future is quite possible. And Raymond Lifestyle, it's a recently listed company, but the numbers have been good. The kind of demerger we have seen, and the focus entirely now onto lifestyle business is going to give good returns in the long term. So both are a hold from our side.
We've got a next question from Ahmedabad. Gaurav Shrivas has written us a message in Devanagari. I'm going to have to brush up on my Hindi. मेरे पास IRFC के 575 शेयर IPOs के समय से हैं. अब मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? हाई लगाने के बाद से शेयर लगातार नीचे जा रहा है. So good, I've managed to read your message. The question is to you, Kunal. I did it again. Kush. I'm so sorry. Kush, on the charts, what would you do?
And that too on the very first show of the year. I'm going to have to charge you a penalty or a fee.
I will agree.
That, right?
I will agree to that penalty. I will agree to that penalty. But what should he do with IRFC?
Well, I think he can continue to hold if the buying prices of the IPO, as you've mentioned. I think he's sitting on very handsome. He's sitting on very handsome profits. I think from a near-term perspective, the stock is seeing a bit of a recovery. He's seeing a bit of a revival. While yes, it's off the high prices that it used to see somewhere mid 2024 about 225. But still there are early signs of recovery on this one. So my suggestion would be that if you want a stop loss on this one, then 135 is the level to keep your trading stop losses on. But on the whole, the stock looks like it's just a corrective phase in a long kind of a good upswing, an upper end that the stock has had. Hold with a stop loss of 135. Don't be surprised to see the stock move higher to 170, perhaps even 200 kind of levels in months to come.
Right, 200 levels in the months to come for IRFC from Kush. We have our next caller, Hari Krishnan from Tamil Nadu is calling in. Hari Krishnan, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Yeah, ma'am. Happy morning and happy new year to you and your team as well.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, my query is regarding ITC. I have 40 shares of 430 apiece.
Okay.
And my doubt is whether I should continue holding after the listing of ITC hotels, or I should book partial capital and invest in ITC hotels.
Okay, got it. I got your question. Rajesh, is that the right strategy to adopt? He's holding 40 shares, so he'll probably get just 4 shares of ITC hotels because the ratio is 1:10. Do you think that's the right strategy to adopt?
I sincerely believe Alex knows my answer. It's a buy from my side.
Yes, I know your answer, and you've been saying that for a while. But for those people that haven't heard it as many times as I have, why don't you reiterate your view?
I have been giving a buy call from since a level of 150 odd rupees, if I am right. And still we have a buy call on this. The company has been doing very well, not only in cigarette business, but also FMCG. Other divisions like hotels, agri, everything is doing well. They're moving into dairy business too. Balance sheet is very strong, debt-free, giving good dividends. I believe this is one of the stock which should be there in a long-term portfolio. Now, coming back to the demerger story of hotels and ITC, you are going to get 1 share against 10 shares of ITC. And that would be a very small quantity, I would say, compared to what ITC is. I would recommend holding both of them for a longer period of time. And by any chance, if you get hold of ITC hotels around 50, 60 odd rupees, it would be again a buy from our side. So hold both of them. If you have extra money, you can put in ITC hotel. No point in diluting your stake in ITC.
Just want to point out the benchmark is at the high point of the day, Nifty 50. It's up about close to 0.9% at this juncture, and the gain from the low point is about 0.8%, doing particularly well. So just over the last half an hour or so, you've seen a bit of an up move, and maybe if some of you would like to know about the levels to watch out for, you can ask, and I will take that question to Kush. Neogen Chemical is the name of the counter that we're talking about next, though, and Muiz is looking at adding this at the current juncture, looking for the long-term prospects. His average buy price is 2,050. Should he add more on a consistent basis? And what are the levels that you should accumulate at? Kush, what's the view on the charts?
Well, I think chemical space per se is one that has actually sort of a bit of a mixed bag, if I'm just being a little euphemistic there, because there's been a lot of hope that's built in, and not all of them have actually transpired into profits. Neogen is no exception, although it's had one big spike, but after that it's consolidating. So not a bad idea to perhaps accumulate on dips. Now, the broad range for this one is 2,000 on the downside and about 2,400 on the upside. So anytime you get a dip closer to the 2,000, 2,050 kind of a level, that should be taken as an opportunity to accumulate. Not a bad idea to actually even book profits partially until you see the breakout of the 2,400 mark. So the idea is a buy on dips on Neogen, but also keep booking profits along the way.
All right. So keep booking profits, but what's the levels on the upside that Kush has just pointed out on Neogen Chemicals? We got Manan from Rajasthan calling us. Manan, namaskar. How can we help you today?
Yeah, hi, Happy New Year.
Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I was just asking about the stock name Man Industries.
Yes.
I was holding this share from the last 1 year.
Okay.
And I bought it at 386 rupees.
Yes.
Now I just want to I'm just asking about should I just hold or sell?
Hold or sell. And you got a long-term view on this, Manan?
Yeah, I was just expecting last year I just thought it just to hold it 1.5 years with this stock because yeah.
Okay, and wish you and your family a very happy new year, Manan. Thanks so much for calling us on the second day of the year. Let me take your question on the fundamentals to Rajesh. Since you've been holding for a year and I guess you were thinking of holding it for the long term, should you hold on to this, Rajesh, based on the fundamentals?
The fundamentals are very strong, around 4,000 crore order book, new order in the pipeline. The Jammu and Dubai business would be great after the expansion. I think they would add to the numbers again. So one can continue to hold with a target of maybe 380, 390 odd rupees in the next 1 year. So it's a hold from a side.
Was that a play on words? More orders in the pipeline?
Yeah.
Or did it just happen anyway? Let's go to the next question.
All right. I think we've Vishal calling in from Bengaluru. Vishal, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
First of all, Happy New Year to all of the NDTV team members and to the panelists.
Thank you so much, Vishal. A very happy New Year to you and your family too.
Yeah, thank you. So the question I had is about REC. So I had bought REC for about 500 rupees a share. I have about 1,000 shares.
Okay.
So I had bought it sometime in the first week of June, right? Just before they announced the dividend.
Okay.
So I see, there is a wild run up to the stock, right? It just went all about 600 and then came back to 490 and then again it went back to 560.
Okay.
So I want to know, can I hold on to this and add more to what I already have, or what is your suggestion?
Right.
From a long-term perspective.
Okay, long-term perspective. All right. Rajesh, I think it's pretty clear as to why he's bought the counter and he just bought it before the dividend announcement. Do you think at 501 level, because his buying price is 500 and it's currently trading at 501, is it the right time to add more?
One can add for a long-term horizon. In the short term, I think there might be some amount of consolidation going on because of the kind of run-up it has last 2 years, I would say. But with the kind of book it has, NPS going down, they provide loans to power sector, and with power sector in upside, I think both these REC and PFC are going to do well. So for a longer term horizon, it's a hold from a side.
Okay, hold on REC and watch the lending book. It's been growing very, very fast. In fact, the energy space is something that you should watch even from the lending perspective. We've got a question coming in from Mr. S.V. Rao on CarTrade, and we have spoken about this, I believe, in yesterday's Ask Profit as well. He says that he feels that the results over the last 8 quarters, and he's been studying this for that time, have not been very encouraging. Should he enter CarTrade at this juncture? So it seems like he studied the fundamentals and he wants to know whether or not it can be bought, considering the stock is up about 120% in the last year or so. Rajesh, what would you say about the fundamentals and the valuations, in fact?
See, valuations are straight, no doubt on that. But they came out with a report that their festival sales, that was October and November, were outstanding, I would say. So one should wait for this quarter numbers. If some jumps is seen there, maybe it can go up to 1650, 1700 odd rupees. At that point of time, one can try to exit.
Right, that's the view coming in on CarTrade Tech. We have our next caller, Harish from Karnataka is calling in. Harish, thanks for calling us. कैसे मदद करें आपकी?
Happy New Year, madam.
Happy New Year to you too.
Okay, madam. मैडम मैं पूनावाला शेयर के लिए 433 के लिए बाई किया.
Okay.
तो 700 शेयर है मेरे पास.
ठीक है.
शेयर कर रहे हैं, होल्ड कर रहे हैं, सेल कर रहे हैं और होल्ड करेंगे.
ओके, आप लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव से होल्ड करना चाहते हो या शॉर्ट टर्म?
शॉर्ट टर्म.
शॉर्ट टर्म, तो टेक्निकल व्यू चाहिए बेसिकली आपको. ठीक है, कोश, आई विल कम टू यू. पूनावाला फिनकॉर्प, फ्रॉम अ शॉर्ट टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव, हाउ डज इट लुक ऑन चार्ट्स?
Not too encouraging, I'm afraid. And in fact, on our advisory just about a day before, we've initiated a short sell on Poonawalla for targets of 305 and 310. So the near-term structure isn't really as encouraging. However, the volumes have thinned on the way down. So maybe, some selling pressure might be coming to an end, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it slip to 300 kind of levels before any kind of meaningful recovery. For me, Poonawalla for a while has been an avoid or an exit, and that view remains the same even now.
In the event, gentlemen, that we do get a Hindi query, and we're happy to take callers from everywhere in the country. If it's in Marathi, by the way, I can also translate and provide that to the guest. If it is in Gujarati, my co-anchor can do that for you. That's unfortunately the limit of what we can do. But do give your answers in that language as well. That will help our viewer to understand. So, you want to very quickly take Harish through what you were saying in Hindi? Kush, I did it again. Okay, I owe you something now.
I think you should take a New Year resolution, Alex, that you have to call him Kush and not Kunal. I think that should be his New Year resolution.
I do not know. Okay, so I will resolve this. I will have to go and check my wiring after the show. But having said that, Kush, what's the view?
And this time it wasn't even a brain fade, right? It wasn't a rapid fire round that slipped on. No excuses at all.
Go ahead.
बहुत quickly, हमने हमारी एडवाइजरी पे बस 2 दिन पहले एक शॉर्ट सेल कॉल इनिशिएट किया था पूनावाला पे 305 के टारगेट के लिए. अगर आप देखें तो मीडियम टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव से स्टॉक में जो 500 रुपए के लेवल से सेलिंग शुरू हुई है वो अभी तक थमी नहीं है. हो सकता है 300 के आसपास से इसमें किसी तरीके का रिबाउंड आए, बट जो इनका बाइंग प्राइस है वहां से कोई बहुत ज्यादा मीनिंगफुल रिकवरी आना मुझे सही नहीं लग रहा. अब इसके बजाय अगर आप स्विच करना चाहें तो जियो फाइनेंशियल एक स्टॉक है जिसको आप कंसिडर कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम अ मीडियम नियर टू अ मीडियम टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव. लेकिन पूनावाला फिनकॉर्प मेरे लिए कुछ समय से अवॉइड और एग्जिट रहा है और वो व्यू अभी भी बरकरार है.
Very, very well spoken, Kush. Tata Motors is the counter that we're talking about next. This is also coming to you, and it's an intraday call that is being sought by Padmachari, who's writing in from Hyderabad. 762.5 is his buy price, and he's asking if we should hold or sell.
That's for me, Alex.
That is, Kush, that is for you, yes.
Sure. नहीं देखिए the Hindi mode got switched on. No, I think Tata Motors is an exit from an intraday perspective. The high around the 20-day moving average has been acting as a resistance, even though it's just about 10 points down. Not a bad idea to consider an exit. What we saw yesterday was a short covering move, a technical rebound, but I'm not sure if the rebound will be sustainable. So Tata Motors at the current juncture from a very near-term perspective, especially intraday, is an exit.
All right, we have our next query from Senthil. He wants to know the status with respect to Siemens. He's currently, okay, can I hold, sell or accumulate is his question. At present, Siemens, he has around 6 shares invested at a price of 8,030 and I believe he's sitting on a loss of 8.5 thousand rupees, and he wants to know as to what should be the next course of action. Should he add more, hold or sell? Rajesh, I'll come to you on this one. Fundamentally, how does Siemens look to you?
See, the counter has been seeing some kind of correction after the management call that came after the second quarter numbers, where they spoke about CapEx not being very meaningful in the first half, and that we all agree. But with the kind of commentary coming in from various management and even from the government side, we believe that government CapEx as well as private CapEx is going to take up in the second half of this financial year, and that would be a good for companies like Siemens. And otherwise also it has got a strong balance sheet doing very well. So it's just a short-term blip. For a long-term horizon, it's a hold from a side, and even one can add to that.
The next question's on Blue Cloud Soft Tech, and I'm trying to pull this up. It's just about 2,000 crore market capitalization company trading with cuts of about 1% or so at 97 rupees per share. And we've got a viewer who has bought, Sagar from Delhi, who has bought at a price of 150 rupees per share. Any chance you have coverage, Rajesh, on this?
I'm really sorry, don't cover this.
No, I don't blame you. But Kush, do you have a view on this on the charts? What should he do? He's losing 35%.
So, Alex, even I'm going to be very honest here, candid here, which is, this is the first time I'm hearing about the company. A cursory glance is suggesting that, this is what we are seeing in the last couple of sessions is more of a rebound play. I wouldn't be invested in this for, any amount of time frame. Exit.
All right, we have our next query that is on HSCL. Lokesh Kamble wants a view on this. Rajesh, do you have a coverage on this counter?
Himadri Specialty.
Himadri Specialty, yeah.
Strong company, Calcutta based, I would say, doing very well. And they are now moving into EV space also by making some sort of chemicals that would be used in batteries for EV space. They have taken up Birla tires going forward. And these things are happening into the company, doing very well. I think one should continue to hold HSCL, that's Himadri Specialties, for maybe a target of 700 odd rupees.
All right, so that's the view on Himadri Specialty. Let's jump to the rapid fire segment. This is where we spend 2 minutes and we try and get our experts to get as many questions answered in that time frame. Rajesh, Kush, do keep your answers as short as you possibly can so that we can accommodate more questions. We've got Sahil, who's got the first question in this round. Nelco is the name of the counter. 1,471 is the buy price. Should he hold or sell? Kush?
Continue to hold. Stop losses are 1,300.
Okay.
All right. Akshay wants to know whether it's the right time to invest in Credit Access Grameen for a period of 2 to 3 years. Rajesh?
It's a avoid from a side at this point of time.
Okay, Reshma Bhatia wants to know about Vedanta, significant component of their portfolio, been holding 2,000 shares since a decade. Want to know whether to keep holding based on the latest fundamental update. Rajesh?
Hold.
All right. Vishal Megamart is the next counter. The viewer had gotten an IPO allotment. Should he hold or sell? Rajesh, do you have a view on this?
Book profit.
Go Digit, 331.17 intraday. Any call, Kush?
No calls intraday on this one, no.
All right. Okay, we covered Nelco already. We have Cummins India is the next counter. 14 shares bought. What should be next course of action as per you, Rajesh?
If you have funds, add to it.
Okay. Vishnu Pungalia, this is the name of the counter. And we've got Rajan Iyer, who's thinking of buying, who's holding rather at 200 shares since July. Would you add more or hold for the long term, 3 years plus? Rajesh?
Although it's a regional player doing very well, add to it.
All right. Azad Engineering is the next counter. Is it a good time to exit or add more to it? Kush, I'll come to you on this one.
Neither exit nor add more, but if you've got a position, continue to hold. On the way up, you're looking at targets of 1875 and 1930. and a stop loss or a support zone for this one is at 1760.
Okay, Texmaco Rail, quick last one. Buy price is 233. Would you hold or sell at this juncture? Technically, Kush?
I would continue to hold with a stop loss at 185.
Okay, all right.
That's a hat trick, Alex. Thrice in the show.
I think it was 4 times. It's more than a hat trick.
I'm so sorry. All right, but I'm completely out of time on this, and this is not just because I'm repeatedly making the same mistake. We genuinely are completely out of time. Kush, Rajesh, thanks so much for joining in. Always a pleasure having you on the program, and that brings us to the end of this edition of Ask Profit. Well, like I said, we're out of time, but there's lots coming up over the course of the day, starting with Know Your Company, and we spoke about this. Up next is KYC. NCC is the focus, so do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
On my face. How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
What's the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money in the bank to even meet the payroll.
What are the lessons that you've learned from the mistakes that you saw being made?
Didn't want to dilute their stake and therefore, ran out of cash.
Think you know what success looks like? Think again. Meet the disruptors, those who dare, dream, and defy.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What's the picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profits Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers. Know Your Company at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, only on NDTV Profit.
We set you up for the day's trade. 30 calls before the markets open on NDTV Profit.
Jubilant food above a 600 level on Friday.
Wipro can be first trade to buy
all commodities, but in that Vedanta looks good.
Our experts give you the top stock ideas to prepare you for the day.
ICICI Lombard stocks hit the first target. It has given a very good momentum with good volume.
Don't miss the chance to make the right moves. Only on NDTV Profit, where winners are made before the bell rings. Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
On my face. How do you define a disruptor?
The idea was, why should we charge differently? We should probably charge the same.
What's the idea to change things around?
People would be scared to put 50,000 rupees with us, right? But today, we have customers who put 500 crores with us.
What was your biggest challenge?
Did not have enough money